Hello, everybody. Today I was going to do a book review. A lot of people talk about the tarot and how to use it and things like that, which is awesome. But I've been fascinated by this little book for a long time. I think I bought it 10, 12 years ago. It was published in 2000. It's called The Little Giant Encyclopedia of Runes by Serona Knight. And it is one of the most fascinating little books that I have ever found. That basically it's a dictionary of all of the Elder Furthok runes. Let me find the index here, make sure I said that right. Yeah. And it's the three different tiers of them, and it describes them through their names and which group they're in, what the groups mean. It's really interesting because you get in the back of it and it starts showing you how to do different spreads, which also can be adapted for tarot if you would like, because I've done that with a few of them. And it also goes into building wards on how to make bind runes and build everything together. This little book in particular is one of my absolute favorite because it is so much information. The little quote on the back is connect mind, body, and spirit by using age-old magical symbols for everything from meditation and divination to healing and magic. You can pick one rune and meditate on it before you go to bed so you can start to understand it better. You can cast them, and then it also goes into where each rune falls if you're casting them, and what it means if they're to the left, to the right, above, below. If they're turned over, they usually don't count. So you generally, when you're doing that kind of a casting, according to this, you only read the ones that are face up. But it goes through each detail as to the symbol, the sound, what the description of each symbol is and how it can be interpreted, where it falls within the system of the runes, the original meaning, and keywords associated. So in that respect, it's very similar to the tarot. But it also goes into what part or which tree is associated, because that was a huge thing to the Celts. Different herbs that are associated, different gemstones, the colors. It also goes through the times of the month and the hour of the day, and then it gives you the various names, because some of the Celtic names, just from my experience, are extremely weird to try to understand or to say. The Gaelic and the Celtic language are surprisingly not complex, but they are, and it's one of those things where you can learn to say the words but not actually know what they're meaning. But this one gives you the names in other cultures, like the Ingwaz is the one I'm looking at. It gives you the Germanic name and how to say it, the actual Norse, the Anglo-Saxon when they migrated to the English language, the Icelandic, and the Norwegian. It goes through a description of what the energy is of each rune, gives you any gods or goddesses that may be associated. The fun part is it also ties into different power animals, so you can find out if you draw a certain one or one resonates for you, what kind of other animal energy in a shamanic path you could bring in to work with you as well. It gives you the elemental value. And if you're into numerology, I'm not really, but a lot of people are. It gives you where it falls in the numerology set. It gives you the astrology, the moon sign that goes with the astrological alignment, sorry. And then it also gives the tarot association. Each one of these has a little myth that goes along with it. It gives you different qualities. The reason I like Knight's version of this book is I've seen some other ones and I have not been as impressed. This one gives you the what's called the Galder songs for each rune, because each rune has tones, it has meaning, and they have in the old traditions you taught a lot through songs, And if you look back, it was lyrical poetry, it was singing. The bards and the ballads were the ones that carried the myths and the legends. So she has brought this information into this book so you can actually understand without the musical notes, but the kind of the rhythm and flow of what it means. Then it goes into the definitions when used in um, divination, so the different meanings. But it also talks about, let me find it here. There's a section in here that talks about how you build the bind runes, and I'll just show a picture if I can find one of the descriptions here. And it's where we get a lot of our modern day stuff, like you've seen. I'm sure some people have seen the abracadabra, um, where you start out with the whole word and then you start breaking it down till you come down to just one letter. It's kind of handy if you're working on building a symbol that you're trying to meditate with, and there's a lot of generally it's ceremonial mysticism that goes along with that. Some places are, some people use it for everyday use in um, other intention setting. No, it's just not going to let me find that little section. And I'll do a probably a descriptive of that type of work at a later date. This one I'm just trying to give a little book review, and of course I didn't mark my spots sooner, so sorry. But the different layouts for the runes are super interesting and a lot of fun, and they give you so much information as to what each placement is, how it works, how you can draw, and how you can use them for, just like you can with the tarot. It's just with the runes, you're tapping into a much more focused, I feel, energy, whereas the tarot is a very strong, broad-ranging way of looking at divination. With the runes, it's this is where you're at, and this is the path, and there is no other variance. Like, you don't have a lot of, like with the tarot, there's a lot of intuitive readings that you can get depending on what artist made it, which can actually change the meanings of some of the cards. Whereas with the runes, you get a straight line, and that's what it is. There's not a lot of variables. I mean, you can get really deep intuitively, but you don't see the variations as strongly as you can with tarot and oracle cards. Um, but what I was describing, bind runes and the building the symbols and things to meditate on, it's stuff like in here, and I'll link the book in the description so you can find it. But you take the symbols and then you build a meditation rune that you can use, which is super handy when you have a goal you're looking for and you're just trying to get focused on it. The active monkey mind likes to make everything hyper literal and very, how am I going to solve this? What am I going to worry about type of a mindset. Well, when you put it into this type of runic symbology, you put your intention out and then you build a pattern right here. And then the symbols actually affect your subconscious mind, which is how we actually manifest our intentions and our desires anyway. But then you can meditate with that on a daily basis. You can hang it above your computer or in your car or something so you see it, but the meaning is deeper than surface value, so it's actually tapping into that subconscious mind, which allows you to communicate with your higher self and with God better, and then you can manifest things in a way more, to me, rapid rate. I've used these for various things, from finding jobs to solving other financial issues to developing different friendships. Sometimes you get stuck and you want to find someone new or find something different. I've used a variety of these over the years, and it's helped me tap into that. But this book, to be 100% honest, just to wrap this up, is one of the best books if you want to find out about runes, if you're just curious and you want to understand more, or if you want to learn how to use them for divination. I highly recommend the Little Giant Encyclopedia of Runes. And I will put a link in the description of. Um, I'll try to find the most affordable place you can buy it from, because I personally prefer not to use like Amazon.com. I'd rather not support them as much with everything. Sometimes they're cheaper, but I would rather find elsewhere. So, but I will post a link in the description so you guys can find it if you are interested. And thank you for stopping by.